Welcome everyone, my name is Bevan and this is the first of many in the tried and true EDC Spyderco series. You may be wondering why I'm dedicating an entire series to Spyderco. Simply put, they are one of my favorite production knife companies out there. There's 5 main reasons that I'm throwing out there, but they're reliable and easy to maintain. They're relatively affordable. They are great slicers. There's endless customizations to some of their popular models, and they're fidgety. So if you're someone that likes to fidget with your knives, Spydercos is a great option, though I'm not advocating for fidgeting with your knives because I've cut myself a few times doing so. So a little bit about Spyderco. It was started back in the 70s with Sal and his wife, Sal Glesser to be exact. They are known for the trademark of the hole in their blades, the Spidey hole. And today I have a model for us is the Manix 2. The Manix 2 was the very first model I had from Spyderco. And it actually took me over a year when I started getting into knives before I even got my first Spyderco. Unfortunately, I don't have the original one that started this collection of Spydercos, but I did pick this up off the exchange. This is a sprint run, and what that means is Spyderco will periodically release the same model but in a different variation. So whether that is a different handle color or material, different blade steel, and those are what they call their sprints. Now, sprint runs are typically released in a set number, and they don't usually remake the sprint. However, they also make dealer exclusives, which are similar to sprints, except for exclusives can be made again. So there are a few online dealers who've dropped exclusives and then later on re-dropped another batch of them. Spyderco is a US company. They do have manufacturing in Golden, Colorado, which is where this one is made. They also have manufacturing in China, Taiwan, as well as Japan. There could be others, but those are the ones I'm familiar with. So this particular one is using a gray G-10 handle. It has what I believe they refer to as diamond texturing, milling in the handle. And the ergonomics on this one is nice. Fits the hand really well. This popular Spyderco spoon clip, I believe is a stainless steel clip. Doesn't really create any hot spots in hand. What's great about Spydercos is that they do the drilling on the handles for left and right hand carry. The Manix 2 model specifically is tip up, so that way when you have it in your pocket, like so, the tip is facing up. This uses a ball bearing lock. So in here you can see there's a spring right there. And to close it, you're just pulling down on both sides, having it drop down. This is great because it does allow your hands to be out of the pathway of the blade when you're closing it. This one is actually a model that is inspired by Sal's son. His insignia is right there, and his name's Eric. This uses a leaf-shaped blade, which is not that common outside of Spyderco models, at least not based on what I've seen in the industry. This is a great slicer. A lot of Spydercos, they have a relatively thin blade stock, and this uses a full flat grind. I've sharpened this one up a couple times, and it's held its edge very well. A little about the steel. So Cruwear is a tool steel. And it's one of my favorite tool steels. It takes an edge really well, a keen edge, but it is non-stainless. I'm sorry, it is stainless. No, apologies again, I'm just fumbling my words around, but it is non-stainless, meaning it will get, if you don't take care of it and keep it oiled, wipe it down after use, it will start developing a patina on it. So let's take a look at some of the measurements. Oh, and guess what? I picked up another digital scale. So you don't have to look at my mechanical one that I used for my first video. So a little less than 4 1/4 ounces. Has enough weight for where you can feel it in your hand when you're using it, but again, not too heavy inside your pockets. Well, that one doesn't want to turn off. Anyways, so let's take a look at the measurements of the blade and the handle. So the entire knife comes in slightly below 8 inches. You have a cutting edge of about 3 inches with a blade that's probably under 4 inches. And then the handle, we're looking at about 4.5 inches. The Manix 2 has a finger choil that you can choke up if you're doing more precision cuts. And it's got jimping on the blade, so that way if you need more control, more grip, you can push down on that. It really locks into your hand afterwards. Let's take a look at what this looks like in the pocket. My wife mentioned I should use different colored jeans. My first review had a Sabenza inside of a gray jeans, and she said it kind of blended in, so took her advice. Now the spoon clip is great. It's very practical. The ramp right here on the clip allows it to slide into your pocket easily. However, the Manix 2 does take up a lot of real estate. For myself, trying to get my hands in the pocket with my knife clipped in there isn't very practical. There's not much room left. So that's one thing about the Manix 2, it does take up a lot of space in the pocket. I personally use this for food prep, as well as box cutting. It's a great EDC. I do wipe it down every time though, and you can always use a mineral oil to add just a light layer of it on the blade if you want to maintain it. So I talked about some of the things of why I liked Spyderco's. Well, this is reliable and easy to maintain. There's not too many parts to this. The only thing about this, so it uses a stainless steel liners in there and it's skeletonized to lighten the weight. I don't know if you can see that, but it's in there, it's cutouts. This one in particular also runs on phosphorus bronze washers. For me, that is an indication of a knife where you can use it and not have to worry about difficulty in maintaining, only because knives that are on ball bearings have a higher chance of damage. If you're using it hard, you could possibly break one of the bearings. To be honest, I don't think it's actually happened to me anytime that I can recall. But from what I've read, washers just makes it more simplistic in terms of maintenance and operation. One of the challenges with this particular knife on the maintenance is you just have to make sure that the spring you don't lose the spring when you're taking it apart. I had a comment that asked about the Manix 2 and comparing it to another similar type of lock. This is the Benchmade bug out, and this uses what they call the axis lock. And similar in a sense, you're just grabbing both sides right there, pull it down. This is not free dropping, but same concept where your hand's not in the way of the knife closing. And for me, the axis lock is easier to engage. You can use one hand, pull it down, and this uses what they call omega springs. For the Spyderco, it is not as easy to pull down with your thumb or one finger versus using both. However, the spring tension, what that indicates is the spring tension is a little higher. What you can do is, if you're comfortable, you can modify the spring by clipping coils off of it, and it would make it easier to disengage. I also mentioned these Spydercos are relatively affordable. Spyderco has a wide array of different price points. They have a bird series, a bird line of knives, which is around, I would say, $50, possibly even less on some models. This particular knife, when it first came out, it was likely around $140, $150 as the advertised price. The MSRP is higher, and that goes for most products. I would say that they have a higher MSRP across the board, but then what they have their dealers sell it at, known as MAP, minimum advertised price, that's usually lower. The Spyderco model, this particular one is not available anymore, but you can find the basic model, which uses a black G-10 handle with an S30V blade for around $160. They do have models that go up high 400, some even in the 500 area. But those models are usually reserved with better materials, such as titanium handles, higher end steels. But again, these have a wide array of price points, so that is why I would consider these great options, because they are relatively affordable. They're great cutters. They, again, thin blade stock. I believe I sharpened this edge at anywhere from 18 to 20 degrees per side, and it cuts very well. I use it for slicing up apples, breaking out boxes, and there's a lot of character on this. I've used it quite a bit. Speaking of endless customizations, well, Manix 2 is one of their most popular models, so you'll be able to find different options of handles, either in micarta, aluminum, titanium. Some of them even eliminate the liners, so you won't need that. There's also hardware you can replace, so anodized hardware right there. You can change this out as well, the lanyard pin. Tons of different pocket clip options as well. So yeah, lots of ways to customize. Oh, and you can actually replace the cage right here, is what they refer to. So you can make that titanium, aluminum, different colors. And back to the fidgety. So Spydercos are very commonly used with a middle finger flip. That's what they call it. And so you just put your middle finger right here in the back and just flick it out. Sometimes when I need a bit of woosah in my life, I do sit and flick my knives. It's calming in a sense. So that's one thing that's great about Spydercos. I'm gonna leave a bunch of links in the description that will take you to a history of Spyderco, some of the popular online sites if you want to customize, stuff like that, as well as the link to blade steel, so that way you can take a look at the information about CPM-Cruwear. Now, my final thoughts about this is the Spyderco Manix 2 is actually my favorite Spyderco model. I've tried many models, which I will have more reviews on as the channel grows, but it locks in really well, and the jimping is well done. Sometimes jimping, they space the jimping out, the cuts too far out, so it's not very effective. But the way Spyderco does their jimping, it does create a lot of friction. So when you grab it, your thumb's not really moving anywhere. Again, the Ergos are really great. You're able to choke up. And overall, it's a one-handed operation. Clip works just as great as a more expensive knife. It's very simplistic. It's effective. I would consider the Manix 2 a must-have in your collection, and not a collection piece where you don't use it, but one that you can really get down, put it to use, carry it on a daily basis. And don't worry about using it up. It sharpens up easily as well, depending on the type of sharpener and the experience you have. But I would absolutely consider this a great option to be having your collection as a user. Before I end this, I wanted to combine it and compare it to, this is the Manix 2 XL. As you can see, it's quite larger than the Manix 2. They also make a lightweight version of this, which uses a fiberglass reinforced nylon handle. And it provides really good grip on that one. I personally don't have one of those models to compare and show you, but they are available online. All right, well, before I take off, let me give you 3 different options for your choosing on the next video. I figure I will stick with the Spyderco series. That first one is a Spyderco Military. Second one is the Paramilitary 2. And lastly, that is the Shaman. This has the titanium handle. We got G-10, and this is a aftermarket micarta scale. All right, everyone, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please subscribe so that you get notified for the next video drop. And give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment if there's anything that I missed that you would like covered. Definitely really open to your feedback, as I am still in the early stages of this channel. And hope you guys keep it popping like Orville Redenbacher, and have a great day.